Welcome back to another episode of Steele Talkin Sports. I am Jay Steele, your host, and let's get talking. So please bear with me. I'm a little frustrated. I tried to use a different recording platform again. I'm trying to get more comfortable with OBS Studio, but I just cannot quite seem to figure out some of the issues. I'm having issues with the stream being fast enough or not choppy or laggy. So I'm having issues with that. I had issues with the camera yesterday, so I'm trying to upgrade and get better at this. Create some on-screen graphics with OBS Studio, but it has not quite worked out yet. So I'm back to using the simpler platform so I can at least put this video out before the week 1 games get started, and I'll work on the other thing in my free time. But NFL Week 1 is here. I hope you all had a wonderful first week of college football. I will say the SEC looks pretty damn good. Did not expect teams to go out there and win those big games, or big spreads, I should say, like Alabama, Ole Miss, Auburn, all won by 60-plus points and covered the over on their own. I did not see that. I thought at least one of those would give up some points or, not cover the 34.5 or 45.5. I thought that they would, win by 40. So that was surprising. I think the SEC teams look really good. I'm a Carolina fan. It really sucked to see Max Johnson break his leg in that first game. So going to be a tough road for the Tar Heels. Florida State, on the other hand, lost last night to Boston College. So they start the season 0-2. What a big shock after that 13-0 season last year. So, hey, that's college football for you. But week 2 of college football is upon us. I probably will not be doing college football episodes. If I like a certain game, I'll throw a pick out on Twitter, but I don't think I'll be doing college football episodes. Right now, I'm not experienced enough with making videos, and also there's 134, 35 college football teams. Like, I can't make a video for that many games. So maybe later in the year, if I get a little bit better and smoother at this, like I can do the top games of the weekend or just the top 25, but I haven't quite got there. So I will be focusing on NFL. So let's jump right into it. NFL starts this week on Thursday, September the 5th. We've got the Ravens at the Chiefs for our first game of the year. Pretty outstanding matchup to start the season off. Last year, I think the first game of the year was the Lions and Chiefs. Lions pretty much shut down the Chiefs in that game and started off the season letting us know how good they were going to be. Let me just flip back to my notes from my division previews episode. There we go. So last year, obviously, Baltimore won the AFC North at 13-4, had the 4th best offense and the first defense. KC 11-6, 15th offense and 2nd defense. This game is set Kansas City -3, and the total is at 46.5. I have to say, like, in the first game of the year, it's really hard not to back Patrick Mahomes. You would think that he and Andy Reid have a nice game plan for game 1 to start the season out. On the other hand, the Ravens have added a lot of weapons, Derrick Henry being one of them. I think that's going to change Baltimore for the better in a lot of ways, take some of the pressure off of Lamar Jackson. I'm very excited to see that. But we will see what we get on Thursday night. As far as the injury report, it looks like the Ravens have a few guys out there. Questionable Rasheen Ali, running back, and Adisa Isaac, linebacker. Those names don't ring a bell for me, so those are probably practice squad guys or guys getting demoted. For the Chiefs, Marquise Brown is doubtful. Um, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire looks like I don't know what this status means on ESPN, NFI-R. But I would say Clyde Edwards-Helaire is out. Let me go look at the full injury report, actually. One brief second. Baltimore Ravens. Okay, so all these guys are on IR. Nobody that rings a bell for Baltimore. Not names that are household names, so I don't recognize them. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, B.J. Thompson, Charles Omenihu. I do recall his name from last year. He made a bunch of big tackles. But either way, it looks like they're all full strength basically for the game besides Edwards-Helaire. With that being said, I like what Kansas City added in the offseason with Xavier Worthy. I think he's going to be a great rookie receiver. Again, if you listen to any of my episodes earlier in the college football or college basketball season and the NBA playoffs, I like to go to oddsshark.com. If you go to the top tab where it says picks, you go to all picks and then NFL. This is basically, a computer-driven matchup to help you make decisions in these games. Their predicted model has Kansas City winning this game 24-21. So in that case, Baltimore would cover the spread, and that would be under the total of 46.5 because it would only be 45 points. Last year, let's see, against the spread, Kansas City was 13-7-1, and Baltimore was 12-7. So these teams were very even. I think this is going to be a pretty low-scoring game. Actually, I do like the under at 46.5. But if I had to make a pick, I'm going to bet Kansas City minus the 3.5. I would honestly, if you're on DraftKings, you can use the alternate lines and mess with the slider. I would probably get Kansas City at 2.5 because if they only win by a field goal, you don't want to push and just get your money back. You'd like to win the bet. So I would get Kansas City down to 2.5. On the other side, if I was betting Baltimore, I would bet the plus 3.5. I definitely think this is a 3-point game. But the first night in Kansas City, I could see a lot of points being scored. It's going to be warm. The Kansas City effect really takes hold in the late portions of the season where it gets really cold in Kansas City, and it's hard to move the ball in 20-degree weather. We saw that last year in that playoff game with the Dolphins. It was brutal. It was 11 degrees outside, and nobody could move the ball. So early in the year, more points going to be scored in Kansas City. I could definitely see the over in this game. Both teams just been building up to this the entire offseason. Like they knew they had Kansas City, Baltimore on their schedules to start the season. So both teams, I think, offensively could come out and we could have a little bit of a barn burner. I could see 4 touchdowns being scored by each team, and then somebody wins it with a field goal, 31-28. But if it was me, I would be betting. I would take the. I'm locking or not locking up. I'll figure out how I phrase that for this season. But right now, Kansas City -3. So let's move on to game 2. This will be on Friday night. You've got the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles. This game is being played in Brazil. Looks like it's still going to no time zone difference there, so it's still 8:15. Philadelphia -3 in the total 48.5. Obviously, being a Cowboys fan, I don't like the Eagles at all. I think I've heard a lot of rumblings this offseason about Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni not being on the best of terms, it sounds like. I don't know what to make of that, but I deal with it all the time with Cowboys, Mike McCarthy, Dak Prescott, Jerry Jones. So I'm used to it, but to hear it coming from the Eagles camp is a little bit different. So I think the Eagles are going to have a down year. I like the way for this game. I like the way that the Packers played at the end of last year. I don't like how they whooped up on the Cowboys in the playoffs, but that's another topic. But for this game, I like the Packers +3. I think Jordan Love getting the contract extension. I think they've really started to build this roster around him after the Aaron Rodgers departure. And besides the fact that they beat my team in the playoffs, I do like the Packers. I think they're a good team. It does look like Dallas Goedert is questionable for this game. He is on the injury report. So, I'm big on the Packers in this game. The money line is Packers +130 and Eagles -150. I just don't trust the Eagles in week 1. So I would be on the Packers +3, also the Packers money line. Don't know if I will actually bet that game. I mean, maybe just because it's Friday, it'll be the only game on the schedule. There'll be some college football games on Friday, also some MLB. But I will probably, if I wanted to bet that game, I would just take Green Bay on the money line, because I just think they win it outright. I wouldn't mess with the +3. So that's just me. But I don't like the Eagles, so I'll be fading the Eagles any chance that I get. Moving on to Sunday, the big slate. Here we go. At 1 o'clock, Steelers at Falcons, Atlanta -3, total 42.5. What are we going to get? I don't know. Who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Steelers? I think it's Russell Wilson. And then they're going to have some Justin Fields. Okay. Yeah, it looks like they named Russell Wilson. I don't know. There's got to be some gimmick plays or probably a series or two for Justin Fields. I don't think they would have traded for him just for him to sit behind Russell Wilson the entire time. I've heard interesting thoughts that they might use him as a punt returner or a kick returner. With the new kickoff rules, we will definitely see how that shakes out. Like, do teams have different game plans? Are they going to run a play? Are they just going to try to return the ball like normal? I've heard of teams trying to use like a wide receiver that can pass the ball so they can create, some mismatches out there. I don't know. We'll see. But on the other side, like, what are we going to get out of Kirk Cousins? Is he starting? I don't know. I would assume so, but I don't think they're going to start Michael Penix. Let me see. Because there's not like a headline on ESPN for this game, like named starting quarterback. I'm just assuming. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Depth chart: Kirk Cousins, Michael Penix. Okay. All right. So I guess Kirky is going to play. That's crazy that he's going to take the field in week 1 after that injury last year. But hey, let's go. All right, so Kirk Cousins on the field, his first home game as an Atlanta Falcon. Also, he's dealing with the Atlanta Falcons like giving him $100 million and then drafting Michael Penix with the 8th pick. How does Kirk Cousins feel about that? I don't know. But you've got to go up against Mike Tomlin, whole new offense. You still got that nasty Mike Tomlin defense. TJ Watt, probably Defensive Player of the Year, almost any year. So I'm going to be taking another dog here. I'm going to take the Steelers. Looks like it's -2 or +3, +2.5. Depends on what sports book you're using. But for OddsShark has, their predicted score: Atlanta 23, Pittsburgh 17. I just don't see that. I know, like, Cousins is maybe a better offensive quarterback than Russell Wilson, but do you really think that Kirk Cousins can put up 24 points in his first start coming off an Achilles? I don't know. I don't think so. Atlanta had a lot of problems last year, and they've made a lot of changes. Pittsburgh has too, but I'm going to take the Pittsburgh plus the 3. So Pittsburgh +3. Oh, I forgot to mention for the Packers-Eagles game, OddsShark predicted score Philly 29, Green Bay 15. So they definitely think that Philly's going to cover that spread. I just don't see that one. I don't see that. Next up, we've got Cardinals at the Bills. Bills are laying 6 points. Total is set at 48. Let's see. On the money line, Arizona +200, Bills -250. And OddsShark has the predicted score at 30-14. This I don't agree with either. I think this is another dog that covers on the road. Arizona, Kyler Murray's back, full healthy. I've heard good things about Arizona. They've got Marvin Harrison Jr., and the Bills brought in a ton of receivers, but they also lost Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis. I just don't know how they're going to replace all of that production so fast. And then on the defensive side, they lost 3 defensive backs: Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde. I don't know. I just don't think the receivers that they added are going to be able to score that many points, at least not in week 1. So, yeah, I like Atlanta on the road here. Definitely plus the 6. I'd probably try to get a +6.5. But Arizona on the money line at +200, man. Like, they started to come on at the end of last season. Like, who was it they beat? Like, the Eagles on the road last year in, like, week 13 or 14. And they were like a +275 or a +375 favorite or underdog. Like, yeah, I like Atlanta here. I mean, not Atlanta, Arizona. Yeah, Arizona plus the 6 in Buffalo. Maybe they squeak out a win, but definitely plus the 6 for Arizona. Man, that's 3 dogs in a row. Next up, Tennessee at Chicago. Caleb Williams. First game as a professional, not in the preseason anymore, going up against Will Levis and the Tennessee Titans. I liked what I saw out of Will Levis last year. Dude's a gunslinger. New coach there in Tennessee, so you would think that they're probably going to have some struggles. But a lot of people are high on that coach. What is his name? Callahan, I think. Or is that Mike McDonald? I can't remember. I don't know. I can't remember if he's either way. New head coach there in Seattle. I can't remember which one is McDonald or Callahan, so don't quote me on that. But Chicago -4. Over under set at 45.5. Chicago on the money line -200. Tennessee on the money line +170. Um, both of these teams went undefeated in the preseason, with Chicago scoring 115 points. Not that that means anything, but I do like Chicago in this first game. I think Caleb Williams has shown enough in the preseason that he is a serviceable rookie quarterback, along with Jaden Daniels with Washington. But yeah, I just think Tennessee, they're going to have a little bit of continuity issue with the new head coach. Chicago, all of their coaches are still in place from last year. And from some things I heard over the past few weeks, it sounds like they were dead set on drafting Caleb Williams from the first time that they talked to him. So the next few meetings or phone calls that they had, they were installing the offense before he was even drafted. So I think Caleb is going to be more prepared than people are giving him credit for. And we are going to see some very fantastic games. I don't know if they're going to hit that over 8.5 win total like a lot of people think, or that they're like going to be a playoff team. But him to win Rookie of the Year, probably a good bet. And then them to win this game and cover the 4 in his first home game as a pro, I think that's a good bet too. So I'll be on the Chicago Bears minus the 4. And I will be hoping that that line moves down to 3.5 or maybe even 2.5 by game time on Sunday, because Caleb Williams to win by a touchdown, I mean, maybe not that like crazy out there, but I would expect his team to have like some good moments and then maybe struggle down the stretch trying to finish the game, and they need a field goal to win. And you would not want the -4 in that case. So maybe try to wait closer to game time and get that one down to a -2.5. Next up, still at 1 o'clock, Patriots at Bengals. Cincinnati -8.5, total 40.5. Very understandable. You've got Drake May on the other side. Actually, is that? I don't think they're starting Drake May. I think they're going Brissett. Because I know there was some questions with head coach Gerard Mayo, and he was like, really, what am I trying to say? Being very secretive about who was going to be his starting quarterback. So, yep, Jacoby Brissett is going to get the start. Drake May second, Joe Milton the third is the third on the depth chart. Wow. I mean, Jacoby Brissett has been okay in the league, but he's not that good. I could see them giving Drake May some snaps if they're down 3 touchdowns early. Would not be surprised at all. But given that being said, like, that makes sense why the total is so low, 40.5 points. I think everybody's super high on Joe Burrow this year. I am too. I think he's going to have a nuclear season. Even though like Jamar Chase is making it really difficult, like, holding out for a new contract, like, dude, it's time to just play on your contract, dude. So as long as like they've got that like wrapped up and they still have good timing with each other, I don't see any reason why the Bengals don't, blow this out of the water and win by 2 touchdowns plus. Um, just so you know, New England on the money line is plus 340 and Cincinnati is minus 425. So don't mess around with that. But I would definitely be on Cincinnati minus the 8.5. Next up, we have Houston at Indianapolis. This should be one of the better games of the 1 o'clock slate, to be honest. On the Houston side, you've got CJ Stroud in his second season. You can only expect this guy to get even better. He was awesome last year. Had a lot of fun watching his games. Very impressive as a rookie last year. So you got to think that he and D'Amico Ryans are going to be even better as a coach quarterback tandem. And the Houston defense was really good last year. They can play. On the other side, Anthony Richardson. Hopefully he stays healthy so we can see what his full potential is. So as long as he's out there, this should be a great game. That being said, Houston is the road favorite here, minus 2.5, and the total is 48.5. This is a tough game. If Indy was at Houston and Houston minus 2.5, I would really, really like that play. But the Texans on the road, and they're still favored. I mean, I get it, but I don't know. Will Anderson, the top 5 pick out of Alabama they took last year, he's questionable for this game. I don't like that. On the other side, Josh Downs, wide receiver for Indianapolis, he is questionable. And their kicker, Matt Gay, and a running back, Trey Sermon. I don't know, man. This one, I just want to sit back and watch because I don't know what's going to happen in this game. If I had to say anything, I would take the points with Indianapolis. They're a good team. Their home crowd is pretty electric. This is a division game in week 1. They're going to be hyped up for it. So I would not be surprised if Indianapolis wins this as a short home dog. But I would definitely push that number up to a plus 3.5, so you don't get burned if you lose by a field goal. But yes, definitely Indianapolis plus the 2.5 at home. That's going to be a fantastic game for the 1 o'clock slate. Next on the list, we have Jacksonville at Miami. Another division, or no. This is just South teams. You would think they would be in the same division because they're like an hour apart. But Jacksonville at Miami. Miami minus 3.5. Total 49.5. Please do remember that all 1 o'clock games, there is a big heat disparity on the Miami sideline compared to the opposing team sideline. Miami is in the shade. The opposing team is always in the sun. It's going to be hot in Miami. So you always have to factor that in, that probably the away team is going to be a little bit gassed, probably a little dehydrated. I do like Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars, but they just play poorly when you want them to win. So that being said, hammer the Miami minus 3.5, hammer the over. I think there is a lot of points scored in this game. I don't think either defense is very good. Let's see. Miami's defense last year, 22nd. Jacksonville's defense, 17th. So yeah, these teams give up a lot of points. Um, if you wanted to like make some extra cash, you could combo the -3.5 and the over together. Get yourself like a +250 odds on that or something. But just take Miami 3.5. They should cover that pretty easily. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Tua, they should have another big season. Next up, so we got two more games in the 1 o'clock slate. Carolina Panthers at New Orleans Saints. New Orleans -4, total 41.5 points. I don't like either of these teams. Gonna be honest. The Panthers were trash last year. Worst record in the league. 32nd in offense, 29th in defense. They can't get any worse. I mean, I guess the defense could be 32nd, but they have to get better. Now, will they get better in this game? I don't know. New Orleans, 9-8 last year, 9th in offense, 8th in defense, so top 10 in both. That's pretty respectable, even though they're only a 9-8 team. But I don't like Derek Carr. That's just, it is what it is. They lost Michael Thomas in the offseason. So I just don't think that New Orleans is going to be able to put up enough points. My favorite play in this game would be the under 41.5, but I'm going to take a shot on the Panthers to cover the 4. Can they win? I don't know, but I think they can keep it within a field goal. Maybe by game time at 1 o'clock, if this number is up to like a 5.5 or a 6, then this would be like a good teaser play. But right now, I'm probably not going to bet that game, but I would be on the Carolina +4. Last 1 o'clock game, Minnesota Vikings at the New York Giants. Minnesota -1.5 and the total 41.5. This is surprising to me. Minnesota is starting Sam Darnold. Obviously, J.J. McCarthy, he broke his ankle in preseason or some kind of injury. I can't remember what it was, but either way, he's out for the year. I thought JJ was actually going to get some playing time this year. I thought if he was healthy and you can get him up to speed in that Kevin O'Connell offense, that he is better now than Sam Darnold has, or will be. So I don't know. I think that's a tough break. I really hate it for him. So Minnesota being the favorite on the road at the Giants, I don't really understand that. Now, I don't think the Giants are going to be very good. I don't think Daniel Jones is very good. I don't think their coach is very good. So, last year, New York, 6-11, 30th in offense, 26th in defense. The Vikings, on the other hand, 7-10, 22nd in offense and 13th in defense. So Minnesota was a little bit better on offense last year with like a whole barrage of quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins, Josh Dobbs, Nick Mullins. Like they threw everybody out there, and they still won 7 games. The Giants are trash. I don't know. I don't like this game at all, but I don't like Minnesota being a favorite on the road. So I would take the Giants, the +1.5, like just take the money line. But yeah, New York Giants plus the 1.5. For me, I will not be betting that game. That is probably going to be one of the uglier games of the day, if I had to say so myself. Also, probably a really good bet is the under 41.5. Next up, we move into the 4 o'clock slate. I'm going to save my game for last in the fours. So first up at 4 o'clock, Las Vegas Raiders at the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers -3, total 40.5 points. Obviously, we've got what's his face? Can't remember the Raiders coach name that got promoted midseason last year. What is his name? I don't know. Can't remember it. Jim Harbaugh on the other side, though, for the Chargers, obviously won the national championship with Michigan. Dipped out, said, I'm not going to deal with these allegations and these penalties you guys are going to bring me if I keep coaching here. So I'm just going to go to the NFL, make bukus of money and see you guys later. So now he's paired up with Justin Herbert, but they lost Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. What is that team going to be? I don't really know. So we will have to wait and see on that one. Yeah, they did add DJ Chark and J.K. Dobbins. So two decent ads. They do have the second easiest schedule in the league. So that favors Jim Harbaugh. And I like the Chargers here. I like the Chargers at home, first game. I like the -3. Obviously, if you've been listening to this episode, I want to get to that 2.5. So I would probably wait or just adjust that line because Justin Herbert has shown us that he looks questionable out there sometimes. And I don't know if they can win by 6 points sometimes against certain teams, especially not a divisional game in week 1. So, if it was me, get the 2.5, but I definitely think the Chargers win this game. If you don't like the 3 or the 2.5, then just take the Chargers on the money line at somewhere around -150. But yeah, LA Chargers -3 is my play in that game. Next up, we've got Denver at Seattle. This is a good game, and I don't understand why Seattle is favored -6. I think Bo Nix and Denver are going to be a lot better than people think. I think Sean Payton is going to have Bo Nix in a very simplified offense, but something very similar to what he was doing at Oregon. Get the ball out of your hand fast. Let your receivers do the work. I like Bo Nix a lot. The only thing is the crowd noise in Seattle. If they do get hyped up early, they could give Bo some problems. But on the other side, he's played in the Pac-12. He's played in the SEC. He's gone on the road and played in big environments. So he knows what it's like to have 80 or 90,000 fans all cheering against you. I don't see that being as big of an issue for him in week 1 on the road at Seattle. Also, Pete Carroll is gone. Geno Smith wasn't the same guy last year that he was the year before after he got that major contract. So we'll see what happens. But I definitely like the Broncos plus the 6 here. So in my look ahead last week, Seattle was -4.5. Now Seattle's -6. I like this even better. Oh yeah. Don't be afraid to go Denver money line either. I think they win this game, but definitely plus the 6 to start out. Next up, we've got Washington at Tampa Bay. Jaden Daniels getting the start as a rookie. Tampa Bay -3.5, total 43.5. I like Baker Mayfield. I like Jaden Daniels. I liked what I saw out of him at LSU last year. But on the road in Tampa, their first game of the year, I got to go Buccaneers. This is going to be a tight game, though. I could see this being a one-score game. The 3.5 does make me a little nervy because you'd need like a 24-20 win. But that's probably about what I see is something 24-20, 17-13, something like that. I think this is a tight game, but definitely Buccaneers minus the 3.5 for me. I just think Baker, the Todd Bowles defense is going to be a little bit too much for Jaden Daniels in his first start as a professional. So I think he's going to be right up there for Rookie of the Year, but I like Bo Nix. But Jaden Daniels will have a good season. So next up, Cowboys at the Browns. Well, at least CeeDee Lamb is at practice. Hopefully we can do the same contracts extensions, somewhere down the road with Micah Parsons and Dak Prescott. Keep them Cowboys for a little bit longer. But for this first game, Cleveland is favored minus 2.5. Total is at 41.5. I don't really need to spend a lot of time on this. I'm going to take the Cowboys plus the 2.5. Dallas on the money line. Cowboys and the over. I will be all over it 7 ways to Sunday. So I can't wait for this game. Really tired of having 12-win seasons and no playoff wins to show for it, and just keep getting shamed by every NFL analyst and person who has a mouth to talk about football. So it would be nice to see the Cowboys win a Super Bowl. Hell, just win a playoff game for that matter. But shut the critics up. That would be great. I would enjoy that. So, I'm very excited to see what we get, with Trayvon Diggs back after his ACL last year. I know Deron Bland that had the 5 pick sixes last year. He's on the injury report to start the season. So not a great look in the defensive backfield, but hopefully, what's his face? New defensive coordinator. I can't remember his name. Mike Zimmer. Hopefully Zimmer gets it done for us. I would like to see Zeke and Rico Dowdle kind of share the backfield. I would even like to see Dalvin Cook get some touches, but I don't think they'll carry 3 running backs in that game. So we'll see what happens, but I know the Cleveland defense is going to be really good. They always are. Stefanski has a very nice program up there, so very interested to see how this all shakes out, but I definitely think this is probably one of the more high-scoring games of the day. Ooh, check this out. So on the depth chart, Zeke is the 1, Rico is the 2, and Dalvin Cook is the 3, Deuce Vaughn the 4. Why is CD reported as out? Oh, we got... Oh, this just hasn't been updated. Yeah. Brandon Cooks is on the injury report, as well as Tyler Guyton. Cooks. Okay, this is 5 days ago. It did not report or not participate in practice open to the media. So that doesn't sound alarming. And then Tyler Guyton. No updates. So it's probably just being held out of practice for precautionary reasons. Nothing really to sneeze about there. So, yeah, Cowboys plus the 2.5, Cowboys money line, Cowboys in the over. You're probably going to hear this out of me every single week, so get used to it. But the only thing that is a big question mark is the center. I know we drafted this guy, Cooper Beebe, out of Kansas State. He was a guard. This is his first time ever going to be a center. That is the biggest question mark for the Cowboys. How do we deal without Travis Frederick? So We will find out. But let's move on to LA Rams at Detroit Lions on Sunday night, 8 o'clock. This is fascinating. Matthew Stafford has to go back to Detroit. Got this rematch of quarterbacks that were traded for each other. Absolutely fascinating. I love when these matchups come back around. Detroit is favored -3.5, and the total is 50.5. Obviously, after last year, everybody expects Detroit to be another really, really good team. Dan Campbell has obviously got that program moving in the right direction. Um, and another year under their belt, I think Jared Goff is going to be even better. Matthew Stafford is getting older, but he still does have Cooper Kupp. And that guy is electric. I really love watching Cooper Kupp play. I don't know. He reminds me of like Wes Welker or Cole Beasley for the Cowboys. Like smaller receivers that just they know how to get in and out of routes and make the most of what they got. And then Cooper Kupp also has lightning speed. So I love watching that guy play. If he and Puka Nakua can, you know, catch some deep shots down the field, then I think they keep it close. Um, but the Lions, I think, have a sour taste in their mouth, and they want to come out hot. I think last year when these two teams played, this was a very close game, down to the wire. Um, but I will probably be on Detroit in this game. I just think that at home, first game of the year, they're going to have a little too much mojo. And probably their defense is going to shut Matthew Stafford down. Which brings us to the last game of the week. You haven't heard his name yet. That's because he's on one of the teams in this game. The New York Jets at the 49ers. Aaron Rodgers finally gets to play football again. Let's just hope that it's more than 4 plays. Please, God. Everybody likes watching Aaron Rodgers play. He's good. He even looks good playing when he's playing bad. So just don't get injured. Please, we want to watch you for a whole season again. I don't want to hear Greenberg on ESPN have his, sad stories for another year with you not in the league. So please play. Please don't get injured. And please look really good. Now, with that being said, I don't think San Francisco is going to be as good this year. They've got issues with Trent Williams wanting a contract extension. Ayuk and his contract extension lasted way too long, and then I still don't think he got the money he wanted. But I think he got paid over what he deserved. So that's just my take on it. I think Deebo Samuel is worth more to that team than Brandon Ayuk, but that's just me. However, I don't like San Francisco -4.5 in this game. I don't like the total over 42.5 or the total at 42.5. I think that's way too low. I know these are two really good defenses, but in week 1, I like the Jets. I like the Jets +4.5. I like the Jets on the money line. I like the Jets in the over. This is just like the Cowboys game almost. I mean, I would. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers on Monday night, he's been waiting literally a year for this. Yeah. New York Jets +4.5. Sprinkle the money line too. And we will see how it all shakes out. Right now, I am keeping an Excel spreadsheet with all of my picks. I'm going to keep track of this every week throughout the season and see how I perform against the spread, making picks. And then I will keep track and share that with you all each week as I record the next episode. So for this week, obviously, we've got 16 games, 32 teams. I will, tally up the totals at the end of the week, and we'll see where we stand. Right now, I just wanted to go through and see how many dogs versus favorites I picked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So right now I've got 9 underdogs, and that means 7 favorites. It's pretty nice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Well, cool. Alrighty, well that I think wraps up everything I've got to say for week 1. Can't wait to watch these football games. Been waiting so long for NFL to come back, so super excited. I hope you are too. I will get this posted on YouTube. You can also reach out to me on Twitter at Steele Talkin Sports. That is all that I've got for today. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment. That is the best way to help support me on this journey. I know I've only got 11 subscribers, but thank you to those 11 people. I very much appreciate it. I will continue to keep trying to get better. I will definitely get onto OBS Studio and get these on-screen graphics going so I can look a bit more professional in the future, but I just got to get more educated. So we'll get there when we get there. That's all I got. I'm Jay Steele. This is Steele Talkin Sports. We'll catch you next time.